welcome back to Entirely English, where we are continuing our adventures into idioms that originated in the Navy, but which are still commonly used now. Today we are looking at idioms that begin with P, and our first is press gang. The press gangs were groups of people who would go out and force others to join the Navy. There were various methods of doing this. One was just simply clubbing them over the head in the street and carrying the unconscious body to a ship. Another was grabbing drunks who were really out of it and forcing them onto the ship. And the third method was quite a sneaky one. When you joined the King's Navy, you were given a shilling, which is an old coin. It was your seal of the deal. You signed the contract, you were given a shilling, therefore your contract was bound. One of the ways they did this, the press gangs, was they would loiter in a bar or tavern, and when people were drinking heavily, they would drop the king's shilling into their cups, tankards. And when the person drinking got to the bottom of their glass and the coin slid their mouth, bang, they had signed the contract, they had taken the king's shilling. So they were press ganged into the Navy, forced to join. Incidentally, you might notice in some shops they have old tankards which had a glass bottom. They say these were created so that when you were drinking you could see if somebody had dropped a king's shilling into your cup. Whether that's true or just an urban myth, I don't know, but it's a nice one. We use the term press gang these days to mean simply to be forced into something. So you might say, my manager press ganged me, using it as a verb, press ganged. My manager press ganged me into working through the weekend because he said the report has to be done by Monday or it would be my job. So I was forced. It's like blackmailed. Our next one is to pull your weight, or more commonly, pull your own weight. Now, we've talked before about when the ships came to port from foreign lands and the cargo holds were full of tea or silks and things like that in the massive crates. The ropes would go up from the docks over pulleys into the belly of the ship, and it would take several men to pull on the rope to get the cargo out. When you say pull your weight or pull your own weight, let's say there's 10 men pulling the rope, each one is pulling 10% of the weight, supposedly. So each one has to pull their weight. If one man isn't pulling his, for example, 10%, then the others are having to share that out between them. The others are doing all of the work. So to pull your weight was to do your percentage, your share of the work. And we use it exactly the same way now. So you might say, okay kids, come on, we've got to get this house cleaned before Auntie Muriel turns up. Everybody, pull your weight. So everybody has to do their share of the work. Or, the project's being launched on Monday. We need everybody to pull their weight. Everybody has to do their share of the work to get the project finished on time. Our next idiom is pipe down. This is quite interesting. On the ship it said that the bosun would pipe down. They used pipes to signal various things, like the captain coming on board, he would be piped aboard. Captain comes on board. And the bosun would also play the pipes. He'd pipe down when it was time for the sailors to go to sleep, apart from those on watch. So it's like a signal, like when the prison guards say, lights out! It meant all the lights should be turned out, everybody should stop talking and go to sleep. Pipe down. We use it in a very similar form now. Your children are making a lot of noise and you have to work on that report that the manager press ganged you into doing. So you shout, pipe down! Be quiet. Silence. Pipe down. Or at least lower the volume. Pipe down. Our next is quite simple, plain sailing. We've talked often with the previous idioms about the problems of sailing, rough seas, storms, rocks, pirates. Plain sailing simply meant there was no problems. The sea was perfectly flat, the wind was in the right direction, no pirates on the horizon. Plain sailing. How was your journey from the islands? Oh, it was plain sailing all the way. No troubles. And it's exactly the same now. Obviously not talking about sailing, but we use it to describe any simple job that we did. How was your interview? Oh, it was plain sailing. Went through it very simply, very easily. Okay, we're getting through these quite fast, so I'm going to do a couple more. One is to push the boat out. This is rather nice. In the old days, as we've discussed before, the ships were launched from that ramp into the sea. So you would push the boat out, take away the stocks, give it a push, and the ship goes down the ramp. Or maybe your ship is beached and you need all of the crew to get around it and push it out to sea. And other people came to help you push the boat out. It was considered as an act of generosity. It was friendly. The local townspeople come and help you put their weight, push their weight rather than pull their weight, behind the boat and get it out to sea. Then it became a common phrase for buying a round of drinks. At the turn of the last century, people would push the boat out when they bought a round of drinks. For those of you not familiar with that term, because I have encountered other cultures where they don't do it, in Britain, when you go to the pub with your friends, you buy a round of drinks. So there's 5 of you. I go to the counter, I buy 5 drinks, one for everybody. And then when we finish, the next person goes up and buys their round of drinks.
Caroline?
Oh, can I have a vodka and tonic?
Yeah, pint. Yep, pint. Another Coke, Sue?
Thanks.
Fine.
This is a twofold thing. One, it's a nice, friendly gesture, and 2, it means only one person's queuing at the bar at the same time. So we don't have a massive queue. 4 people are sitting on the table, 5th one is at the bar. So a round of drinks, anyway, that's an aside. So around the turn of the century, around the turn of the last century, to push the boat out was to buy everybody a round of drinks, maybe the whole pub. You've had a really good fishing trip or something, you go into the pub, round of drinks for everybody. So you were pushing the boat out. Nowadays, to push the boat out has changed slightly. It means to spend lavishly or generously. So you go out for the weekend with your friends and you say, I'm going to push the boat out. I'm going to rent us a hotel room, pay for the tickets for a nightclub. You are doing everything. Okay, the last one is not just a sailing one, this is a military one because it's to do with the cannons again. We talk about being primed and ready. When the cannons were prepared, they put the gunpowder in, they put like a cotton wadding in, they put the cannonball in, stuff it, there'd be a fuse at the back, and then they'd light the fuse and boosh, the cannon would fire. All of that, the gunpowder, the wadding, the cannonball and the fuse, that is priming it. It is primed and it is ready to fire. So it's often a call that the gunners would shout to the boatswain, the first mate, the captain, or in the battlefield with the military to their captains, their generals.
Gunners ready for a broadside! Primed and ready, sir! Primed and ready, sir! Ready, sir! Fire!
Primed and ready means the cannon is loaded and ready to fire. A bit like we had before, locked and loaded, primed and ready. And we use this these days when we're prepared for something. Maybe something exciting. Okay kids, we're off to Disneyland. Everybody packed? Yeah, you were primed and ready. We're stuffed with enthusiasm and want to go. Or again with our projects and our business things, the new app is primed and ready. Everything is in place and it's ready to be launched. Okay, so a few more positive ones there than the last time. I hope you found that interesting. I'd like to welcome some new subscribers as well. I don't have all of your names. YouTube doesn't always share the names for some reason. So if you can just pop your names in the comments below, say hi, you subscriber or something, just let me know who you are. It'd be lovely to get to know the names of people so I know who I'm talking to. And then anything else, any other comments you might have, any other idioms you might know that you think are from the Navy or you know are from the Navy, pop them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope to see you for the next one. Bye bye now.